Alright, and we're recording again for Game 3 of xCet versus Tang Zhang Pang, round of 16 matchup for Diamond Cycle 10. And I casted the first two games all by myself because I was lonely. But Frood is here for Game 3. Say hi to the people, Frood.
Hello, people.
See, now we're assuming there's actually more than one person, which is super fun. So if... I'm assuming that you didn't, for some reason, just randomly look at these replays for Game 1 and 2, so I'll actually spoil for once and let you know what happened. xCet took Game 1, TZP took Game 2, and that's why we're in Game 3 right now. So that's pretty much where we're at. Any questions?
All right. Nope.
Okay.
Get to the band, I guess.
Yep. Keeper of the Forest, Pestilence, War Beast, and Dr. Repulsor.
I'm disappointed to see Dr. Repulsor banned just because he's my favorite hero in the game, probably. To watch,
Really?
at least.
To watch. Okay.
I love him.
You should have gone back and watched the previous games because they actually put a Doctor up against a Grinix in the previous game, and the Grinix won the lane again. That's the second time I've seen a Suicide Grinix beat a solo short Doctor, which is kind of interesting.
Excellent ran the Grinix or the Repulsor?
Excellent ran the Grinix. Yeah. And it actually beat the...
All right.
Kazio and Grinix actually beat
So
the
they're running
Repulsor.
him again.
Yeah. And that makes plenty of sense, of course.
And I'm excited to see Ophelia. It's another fun hero to watch.
Yeah. Pew played that game 1, didn't do too well. Is it just me that doesn't think that's not really a Pew hero? I feel Tempest, Parasite, sure. Ophelia, I don't feel like I see him play him that much or that well.
To be honest, the only player in this game that I'm particularly familiar with is Kazoo, so
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody on TZP.
Yeah, I don't know them either. I think they're a team that's bouncing back and forth between Diamond and Gold, so still, you're really helpful. Anyway, the bans are on TZP sides are actually, once again, concentrated to Kazoo. They banned Keeper on War Beast the previous game as well. So that's not super surprising. I guess the Doctor coming out from Pew was because the Doctor last game on TZP won, so I guess they don't really want to give that hero to TZP again. And now we're through the picking stage, and xCet has Ophelia, Grinix, and Gemini, so that's going to be a jungle on Pew, Suicide for Kazoo, and Nox's short laner. TZP's picked up Torture, Tempest, Kraken. I'm going to assume that's going to be a Suicide Kraken, a Jungle Tempest, and a Support Torture, although both Torture and Kraken can be run in different lanes. Is that what you're expecting too? Would you prefer that? What do you think?
Looks about right. What jungles are left for
Doesn't matter.
Excellent to pick up over here, I'm guessing?
They've already got Ophelia.
Right, I was not paying attention there. Haha.
Yeah, you're a silly person.
So far, all Dota heroes on TZP.
That's... Wait, Kraken's not a Dota hero.
You're right. I'm apparently retarded.
What the hell are you talking about today?
I was thinking of Tide Hunter.
That's...
I've played this game before. I know what these heroes
are. You sure you played this game before? Anyway, second banning phase goes through. Moon Queen, Wretched Hag, Corrupt Disciple, Bubbles, still their Ravener. So, focus mostly on the short laners on Pew's side. So he's certainly thinking that's going to be a Suicide Kraken and not a short lane Kraken, which now TZP could screw him up and get a Suicide or a mid, and that's going to be a mid gauntlet, I'm going to assume. And then run that Kraken in the short lane, because they could certainly do that. TZP's bans more concentrated on the Suicide, which is really weird because... I don't know why you do that. Bubbles,
They
Hag,
have the Grinix.
I know. Yeah, like Bubbles, Hag are both potential Suicide heroes. Hag isn't run that way so much anymore, but she could. Bubbles is usually run as a Suicide, I think. Although we have been seeing a lot more mid Bubbles than recently than we did before. Then, of course, the Rav ban preventing a strong middle hero, but they will still get one. In Master of Arms, I assume that's going to be a mid-master, considering Zerigo's on that, and he's their mid player. So looking at xCet's lineup now, they're adding the MOA and the NG, so I'm going to assume Suicide Grinix, Solo Short, Gemini, Master NG mid, and Ophelia in the jungle, which are certainly fine lanes, reasonably predictable. They could also run the NG bot to babysit the Gemini. I think I'd prefer they run the NG mid, though, because I think it's going to be a Gauntlet Torturer mid, and if they don't do that, NG mid, then Master, if he gets hooked, he's dead. And that would be a serious problem. And Silhouette's back.
But at the same time, with two people there, if he's getting hooked, either of those heroes is probably dead to a hook anyways, so I could see them just sacrificing middle lane, running it as almost a second suicide, and letting Master of Arms do what he can.
Suicide mid isn't... Yeah, I mean, that's been run before, but if one of those heroes gets hooked, the other one has a stun, so even if they can't prevent the other stun from coming out on TZP's side, they could prevent a bunch of the damage and some of the chase. I feel like if they just run Moa mid, if Gauntlet hooks him in, he's basically dead. He's going to get stun locked, there's nothing he can do. You throw an NGK in there, and he could probably get away. He's not the tankiest hero in the world, but he's got enough to survive. So I don't know, I'd prefer the dual mid here. And I don't feel like Nox on Gemini's going to need a babysitter, because he's probably going to be facing a Suicide Kraken, which he can, if not beat, he can certainly be okay.
I think that lane is going to be a wash, and then you're thinking Silhouette top, and then the Gauntlet
Torture
mid, like you said.
That certainly would seem to make a ton of sense. And I actually don't like that for TZP on top. That's Silhouette versus Grinix, because Silhouette's not going to kill Grinix because of the Rift Stock, and actually we're going to see level 1 Convor.
She's not... Oh, really? Think?
Oh, well, they're doing it right now, so...
Oh, my game is apparently frozen and lagged out because it's showing Engineer as 75% loaded and nothing's happening.
This has happened
My game is
before.
totally frozen.
And does it show the replay, the total time on the replay is like 10 minutes?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so...
Alright, I'll try and get back in and catch up with you.
What you're gonna have to do is reinstall your entire fucking client. I'm not even kidding.
Well, fuck that.
Yeah, so I think we might actually say goodbye to Fruit at this point, because it's gonna be...
Goodbye.
I had this exact same problem. Like, I had 10-minute replays, and actually there's the Convor kill on part of the Hellborn. So that certainly took xCet by surprise. But yeah, I had the same problem.
The poor viewers will miss my insight of knowing which heroes are from Dota.
And which players you have insight on, which apparently consists of Keizu and nobody else. So...
Alright. Go get ready for the Super Bowl.
Good. As we see.
Bye.
Guess how much GPM Torture has? It's 1,000. It's pretty impressive, huh?
I bet it's not 1,000 anymore.
It's not. It's 874. 819. 70. 792. Okay, well, goodbye, Frid. We will hopefully see you later. Moving to a solo cast now, because apparently HoN's bugged as crap. Which, hey, what else is new? We do see the lanes shaping up pretty much as we called them earlier. Suicide Kraken versus Gemini down here. In the middle, we've got Master of Arms and Engineer against Gauntlet and Torture. And on top, we've got Grinix versus Silhouette. Silhouette actually put quite a bit of damage up on that Grinix to begin with. Token of Life did go to Gauntlet, so he will be able to play rather aggressively. Especially with his mana, because he doesn't have that much mana to begin with, but the Token, of course, will bring you right back up to full mana, and for some reason they're wasting all of their stuff. If I were Gauntlet, I would just fight this. There's a hook coming in. Just freaking dive them. You've got a token, might as well use it. Especially if the other team's going to use up all their mana trying to hurt you when you have a token, which doesn't make too much sense to me, but hey. Anyway, I expect most of the action to be centered around here middle, as the Hellborn does regain lane control. Bottom, I don't expect either hero really to get a kill here. Both of these guys have strong escape mechanisms. Kraken's particularly tanky. Gemini's not so much, but he also has a slow, so that's nice. And really, if they try to fight, I don't think that either of them is going to die, unless somebody mans up and thinks they're going to get a kill, and then they end up not. That ends up not happening. Meanwhile, up on top, Tempest is free farming the jungle, and Grinix is having a fairly decent time up here against Silhouette, like I said. 220 gold per minute versus the 330 of Silhouette. Of course, that's boosted slightly by the Convor kill earlier. But I don't expect Grinix to win this lane. I do expect him to do well, especially if he hits level 6 relatively early. He can get a kill on Syl, because Syl's got a decent escape mechanism, but it depends on some positioning. So the Rift Stock comes out for some harassment. And if he does that a few times, grabs a bottle, gets a rune, maybe two, he should be able to grab a kill on the Silhouette because he can initiate with the Rift Stock, Shadow Step into the stun, and then throw the ultimate down for a whole bunch of damage. Silhouette does not have that much health, and she isn't that good at escaping, even with their tree grapple, so... you know, I really don't expect Kaiser to lose this lane, and I think it's very possible he could actually outright win it. As it looks like Ophelia's coming in for something, but I'm not sure what, because she's got a Vagabond leader at no health and no mana, and it's not exactly helpful. As Engineer gets hooked in here by the Gauntlet, but that's actually going to end up with a Keg Stun onto Torturer as Impalement goes off, and nobody's going to die. Gauntlet's now got a bottle on top of his token, and hook then bitches Gauntlet. I don't know, his token still has 3.5 minutes on it, so he doesn't have to be worried about using it now. He doesn't have to be worried about using it at all, but there's the hook in onto the Infernal Instability, and she's going to take a bunch of damage. But I wouldn't hate to see Gauntlet play particularly aggressive here. Pew keeps trying to do something with its Kraken, and I don't know what the objective is here. He's got a Vagabond leader, and that's it. As Kraken's actually going to go for bot rune, but it's going to be also camped by Engineer, and it's a hasten, and she's going to grab it. So this could actually be a bit of trouble for Kraken. Probably not. Oh boy, maybe even Engineer. He's going to have to use that haste. So, sucks for Moa, because he's not going to be able to use that haste rune, but at least Engie won't die. Meanwhile in bot, that's some free farm for Gemini, as Kraken has decided to go leave the lane and camp bot rune. Lane control has been lost on top as, wow, still puts quite a lot of damage up on Grinix, but not going to kill him. And Grinix is level 5. He is probably relatively close to level 6, considering still is 6. But, so we'll see if we can actually have Grinix eventually come out. Grinix is going middle, but there's a ward site here that's going to spot him out. So he can hide here all he wants, but they know exactly where he is. As Tempest actually comes down as well, and he is level 6, so we're looking for a Tempest ultimate to get set up on here. Rev Ward goes down to spot Grinix if he Rift Stalks in, and he's instead just going to leave. I think he did see the Tempest there, so I believe Moa and Engineer know about it. Keg is going to hit Gauntlet, but that's it. So Gauntlet now with a minute 30 left in this token. Not a lot of time. I'd once again like to see him get some aggressive play in here. It's pretty clear that Mo and Engie are sort of expecting that because they're hanging way, way back. But anyway, up on top, Grinix is putting some harassment up on the Silhouette. He's still not level 6. His Sil hits 7. So some time spent in middle trying to get a gank off was, you know, not good time for this Grinix, for Keizu, as he still lacks his ultimate, and he sort of needs that to farm effectively. Gemini has split up and is using the dogs to farm, so good play here from Nox, but that allows Kraken to basically get free farm in this lane. As we are past 6 minutes now, still without a Bloodlust. Gemini recombines, and he's going to come back into lane to contest Kraken's farm. In middle, Gauntlet has 30 seconds on this token, so I don't think he's going to be able to use it unless he just goes crazy right here and starts diving towers or something. Use a fucking hook, Gauntlet, come on. Meanwhile, on bottom, Kraken Ultimate's going to go down, and that's still going to be a kill, though, because Gemini's got his stun. So, good gank there from Pew, helping Nox out with that Skeleton King, basically, allowing Kraken to get shut down. As Gauntlet's token is gone, so they don't have to worry about that anymore. And this is going to turn into a bot tower push, with both dogs and Pew's minions and the Ballista showing up. It looks like this is actually going to be a tower kill. Sorry, as middle, there's some action Mo's getting initiated on, but there's a Shadow Step there from Grinix, and Gauntlet's going down. Torture is diving like a motherfucker, and swearing a lot this game. Rift Stalks can come out, and he's going to die. To Grinix. Meanwhile, bot tower dies. And they did actually pick off the Master, so that was Torture. They're killing Moa. So that ended up being a fine trade. Once they had picked off the Gauntlet, trading Torture for Master Farms is probably a good decision. And as we look at the GPM charts here, fairly even on the Legion side. Everybody's within 80 gold per minute of each other. Grenix at 264 all the way up to Gemini at 340. Silhouette is the farm leader though, as she has basically had free farm up here since Grenix has been leaving the lane. And she's at 366 GPM. Next is Tempest at 311, and then Gauntlet at 283, Kraken at 267. So Silhouette really did better up here than I expected her to, although she's now going to get initiated on by Grenix with the Rift Stock and decide to run away in case she gets completely jumped with the stun and the ultimate. Relentless Salvo is going to go out and do some damage with the increased auto attacks. As Tempest is hasted and running in, and there's a Dust of Revelation on top of the ultimate and the stuns, and there goes Grenix. So, nice pick off on Kaiser there, and we actually do have a pretty substantial lead in terms of gold experience for the Hellborn team. 1100, or 1200, excuse me, on the gold, and 3400 on the experience, as Kraken might be in trouble once again here with the Skeleton King net. But we have a chain reaction from Torture, and actually there's a release the Kraken, and that's going to be a dead Ophelia. I don't think that Gemini's going to be able to pick up a kill here, and he might be in some trouble actually with the Gauntlet hook, so there's a Master of All Arms call coming out, but too much damage for Nox as he dies, and actually the top tower goes down as well, so pretty substantial lead here for TZP, as Excellent find themselves in a bit of a precarious position. Top tower push is continuing. Of course, those Tempest Elementals can't attack because he's not close enough, but Silhouette's putting some decent damage in the tower. Riftstock from Grenix, and he's going to open... Nope. Just going to defend. It looks like they're flanking here, though, as Master of Arms is coming up, and Silhouette needs to be extremely careful. And she's probably... Nope, she's not going to die here, actually. She has the Energizer, and Master of Arms isn't going to be able to get in there fast enough. So, attempted gank didn't work out too well. They do now have a Word of Sight up here, so they saw Mo coming in, but they didn't see him at the rune. Giving just enough vision, just enough time for Syl to get out of there. As she continues to be the top farmer in the game at 390 gold per minute. Actually now quite a ways above anybody on the Legion side. Now Moa has taken over the gold per minute lead as Legion with 324. So this early game is going pretty well for Hellborn. They've actually now interested in ganking this Grenix, and there goes the Dust, but he's got Riftstock and he's a little too fast. Good attempt there from Hellborn, not quite enough. Grenix a little too speedy. It would be good, I think, if they continue to contest this Gemini and bot, because that's basically going to be the game. If Gemini can get some farm together, then he'll be able to do extremely well. And if they shut him down a little bit, he won't, because, you know, Gemini really needs some items, and if you let him get stats up, then he's probably one of the hardest carries in the game. I don't know if he's the hardest. I'd say maybe Moon Queen fits that bill, but maybe Sandwraith, maybe Corrupted, who knows. But he's certainly annoying as hell to deal with. Meanwhile, in the middle, we see 4 players grouped up for a push. Acid Bomb's going to go out, and that's going to do a lot to stop it, but not quite enough, as the Glyph Fortification and the turret also go out. Impalement goes off from Torture, but that's not going to be actually continued. It's a good Ward of Rev down there in case Grenix shows up, as he very likely will, I think, because it looks like TZP's pretty much committed to killing this tower. Using most of their abilities to clean up the creep wave and getting past the goo. This is definitely going to be a dead tower kill. A dead tower. Nice little lightning there, hitting a lot of people, but... So Pew ultimate goes off, trying to save Nox. Is that going to be quite enough? We'll see. The Gauntlet Blast actually kills Nox with a bunch of damage, and the slow, or stun, and immobilize. So, Nox now at 0-2. 0-2-1. So, bit of a suffer game here. He's at 300 GPM, which is fine, but really he should be higher than this considering how much Kraken's roamed. And it looks like Hellborn are going to group up for a bot tower push now, looking to take all of the outer towers. Of course, the Infernal Instability for Gauntlet is able to be spammed on the creep wave because Tempest has the Ring of Sorcery. Impalement comes out as well, and that's going to be another dead tower. Meanwhile, Legion are going to take middle tower. So we have 4 heroes grouped up here for the Hellborn, and Pew needs to get out, buddy. I would not farm this if I were you, Pew. They don't actually have vision of him, but if they come around this in a second, and they've got vision of NG now, so there's going to be a gank here, definitely. Actually, as they're trying to put the energy field down, and they're going to, including the Master's Call, but I think... Oh, good Keg, and he's going to put him right in the energy field, and Tempest is actually going to die here. Gauntlet's going to come in with the Infernal Stability, and the Portal's going to kill him, but Shadow Step's going to actually take him out with a stun. Britnick's ultimate coming out, and Torture is also going to fall, so... That Moa ultimate did quite a bit, prevented Engineer from getting burst down, allowed him to get the ultimate off, and did a ton of damage to both Kraken and Tempest, as the Legion team take 3 for 1, and only losing their hard support NG. So certainly a great trade for them there, as Nox looks to push top tower, but will be stopped by Kraken. So let's continue just to free farm up to 426 gold per minute, sitting on an Energizer Firebrand and Steam Boots at this point. So solid farm, more items that will help her farm, of course. She isn't the greatest farmer in the world. She doesn't take stacks particularly well, but she does do a ton of damage. She's really better at farming heroes than she is at farming creeps. So I would like to see her get a little more active, especially because with the Kraken and the Gauntlet, and arguably even the Tempest, if they manage to get a portal key on him, they have some pretty solid burst and some pretty good jump. Bot Rune's going to be bottled up, I assume, by this Gauntlet, as they're hanging around Kongor and looking to take it again, possibly. They see Pew, and Pew's in some trouble. The Gauntlet Blast comes out. Stun's actually going to miss, but it's not going to matter. Because the Moa ultimate also comes out, but again, who cares? Engineer might have been spotted. No. He will be spotted by this ward, but Hellborn isn't interested in actually pursuing that. So they get the pick on Pew, and it looks like they're going to group up and take Kongor a second time. So this is a good decision. I think that double damage should have gone to Silhouette. No, maybe not. I guess they hit about as hard. But in any case, this should be a pretty easy tower kill up here, as Kraken is providing some distraction up top. Won't go down, won't even get to a third of his life. And this is another Kongor. So what picks up the token? 15 minutes in. Good rotation here from Hellborn. Nice warding, making sure that they weren't going to be spotted doing it. And xCet's not really in that big a hole. Certainly considering TZP's taken all first tier towers, and actually xCet's got 2 of 3. And they've taken Kongor twice, so a 3,000 experience lead and a 3,000 gold lead really isn't that crazy considering the other resources they've been farming. The CS battle, I think, is being won by xCet, and that's really why they're staying in this. 96 CS here for Gemini, contested with 102 for Silhouette, and 3 players in the 70s, but we've got 85 on Master, and he's taken a bunch of Ancients here, too. So that's actually even more valuable creeps than normal. So the CS battle is fairly even. I guess it's mostly just the towers and the Kongor kill that are doing it. So also because the hero kill score 7-6 is also relatively even. They did counter that ward. Looked like it took Cinder 2 Wards of Rev to figure out exactly where it was, but they have destroyed that jungle ward, so that's good for them. And poor Cinder sitting on boots. Items real fast. Astrolabe, Ring of Sorcery, Ring of the Teacher, and boots for Pew on Ophelia, as it looks like they're going to be pushing bottom 2nd tier tower. They could get this with 3 strong Pew minions, but it's going to come at the cost of a mid tower, so they're basically going to have to trade here, and may not even get that, as I believe Gauntlet's porting in, and they're going to look to stop the spot push. And nice Gauntlet Blast, and that's going to be a dead critics. I would assume the Torrent comes out. Yeah. Oh, there's Blessing coming out. We can see the Mole ultimate as well. Maybe, maybe not. Kraken ultimate, gonna get hit, but he's invisible, so there's another dust. No old mana on Gauntlet though, so he's gonna survive. So that stopped the mid tower push, and it looks like Nox is gonna take this top tower. So that's going to even up the tower's situation for excellent.
Had destroyed a hellborn tower.
As in middle, Grinix is going to find Silhouette and kill her. So what the hell happened to the token? Did she lose the token at some point? I just missed it. Wow. It's a bit of a problem, but a nice play from Keizu. As Kraken's free farming middle, but Master Verbs come up here and prevent him from doing much. Grinix is going to open on Kraken here with the haste rune, so he's not in too much danger, but he won't be able to kill this Kraken either because he's tanky as all hell with 1600 total health, Helm of the Black Legion. Doesn't have Mystic Vestments, but may not even get them. I think he probably should. There is a bit of magic damage coming out here on this Legion team, so I would expect to see that Mystic Vestments at some point, but certainly not necessary, I don't think, in this game. So, there's Dust Revelation, and that's going to spot Grinix, preventing him from opening on Torture. As bottom, Ophelia and Nox are interested in ganking this Kraken, but Kraken senses something is going wrong, so he decides to leave and head middle. In middle lane, we just got Torture, and it looks like this might be a little bit of bait, but it's once again going to be a 5-man group and push into this mid tower, so I think they're going to try to take this middle tower right here. I believe Cliff of Fortifications back up. But with the Impalement and the Tempest minions and the creep lane potential, this Gauntlet Blast comes in on Engineer, and that's going to be a dead Engie real fast. That Portal Key proving this to be a serious problem. So that's a mid tower push for the Hellborn team. And they're now going to port out. Oh, bottom lane tower is actually deniable, so it's kind of interesting they haven't done that. Oh, Glyph goes out to scare off Nox, and I guess this is now going to be a deny. On top, meanwhile, we've got Grinix farming, but he's going to port out as Kraken comes in. I don't think he actually saw Kraken, but he figured everybody's missing, I should leave. So certainly a good decision there from Keizu. Items real fast, and she managed to pick up the robe, apprentice robe. So he's going to be going for steam boots here. Gemini has the Energizer, the Firebrand, and steam boots. So he's quite fast. Sorry, 438 base move speed. Plus the Energizer should get him to the high 400s. Grinix sitting on Alchemist Bones. Wow. I don't know when he got that, but it must... Hopefully it was early. Energizer and Ghost Marchers, so that's going to help his farm out a little bit. Actually a lot, considering he's at 363 gold per minute, and the golden experience days has evened up quite a bit. Master of Arms has a first item Shrunken Head on top of the Energizer and Steam Boots. So, decent decision there. They have quite a few stuns here, and it's going to help a lot with stuff like the Kraken Ultimate and many of Torturer's abilities. As we see Gauntlet port in, but everybody's going to port out. Pew's minions might not be quite so lucky, taking Glacial Blasts there. But we'll see if they can actually chase all of them down. There goes the Minotaur. Meanwhile, up on top, it looks like the Legion side is interested in taking this top tower. And then they're going to back away once they have the creeps pushing a little bit harder. Both of them are going to port out. On the Hellborn side, Silhouette sitting on Searing Light and a Mighty Blade, so presumably that's going to be a Dawnbringer on top of the Energizer and Steam Boots. I'm not sure if I'd go full Dawnbringer. I get the Searing Light, makes a ton of sense, especially for helping out the farm of a hero that doesn't farm very fast. But I don't think she really needs the DB. I might have gone Savage Mace instead, you know, even getting a different attack modifier like a Shield Breaker or Lifesteal could have also been interesting. Shrunken Head wouldn't be a terrible choice. There's quite a few stuns here on the Legion side, and getting through NG Ultimate, for example, could be quite nice. So there's Searing Light for Gemini. So that matches Sills. And she actually should have enough for the Dawnbringer now if she wants it. Tempest, in the meantime, has finished an Astral Blade, and Ring of Sorcery, and a Ring of Teacher, so mirroring Pew's items very closely, except for the push book. As Pew actually is farming quite a bit better this game, 300 GPM compared to the low 200s he was in at the early stages of last time we played Ophelia in Game 1. Is actually Sill's in a lot of trouble here, as Gemini and Mo are going to come in, and that's going to be that silhouette. Hook tries to hit Gemini, but he's way too fast. So everybody's going to pour it out after getting that pick on Sill, which is going to be down for another 50 seconds. It's a bit of a problem. Kraken picks up a Soul's Bulwark to add to his Helmet Black Legion bottle and Steam Boots. So quite tanky, and going to be able to do some D-armor there for Silhouette, or some positive armor for Silhouette, really. In either case, it's helping her out most. Torture on Boots does a Rev, and Mystic Vestments, and some Rev Words. So clearly trying to address this Grinix and possibly even do some counter warding, but he's suffering pretty hard right now. 163 GPM isn't bad. I would sort of expect his items to be a little better at this point. I'm a bit surprised they aren't. He's missing quite a few CS there. So he might be scared, but really should be able to get those creep kills. If you're going to sit there and farm, you know, at least take the farm. Anyway, Gauntlet, final hero in the game. Bound Eye, again for that Grinix who was causing a lot of problems. On top of the Portal Keys, Team Ghost Marchers and Arcana. I assume it's going to be a Hellflower for Grinix, possibly even for Gemini, who splitting and recombining and splitting and recombining is annoying as all hell. But I would guess it's going to be for Grinix to prevent him from rift stalking and from just being a general pain in the ass that he can be. As we move into the mid-game, the farm situation is now slightly favoring the Legion team. We've got 3 heroes up here at or near 400 gold per minute in Grinix, Gemini, and Master of Arms. In fact, Mo is up at 450. Pew's just over 300, and Engineer's at 150, so quite respectable farm on everybody. On the Legion side, particularly Moa, who also doesn't farm all that well, but has managed to get quite a few CS here, 146. And of course 5 assists as well. On the Hellborn side, Silhouette still leads at 432 gold per minute, so she has now ceded the game's crown to Master of Arms, but she still leads her team. 3 more heroes above 300 GPM in Tempest, Kraken, and Gauntlet, but nobody doing especially well. That Kraken at 360 is good, and not really great, but it's certainly quite good. Torture at 163 GPM matches Sender's Engineer fairly well, and so really, as you can see, spread farm quite well on the both the Hellborn and the Legion sides. As it looks like in middle, we're going to see a tower push, Cliff Fortification goes out, but that's not going to be enough to stop this if they really want the tower. Pew's minions are going to finish it off, I think. No, maybe not. Energizer comes in, and that's going to be a dead tower. Bottom tower is also being pressured by the Hellborn team, and if this is going to turn into a base race, then Excellent's going to win because they have a lead. As we see the entire Hellborn team pretty much port back. So this base tower is actually going to take quite a lot of damage, and it might even die. Nope, not going to commit. For some reason, a Ro16 was laid down. I suppose that was to see them coming, but it's interesting because it got countered so quickly, of course, because it's sitting on top of something with True Sight. So it looks like Oak's going to be going for the Abyssal Skull, which actually is a great decision for this Gemini in particular, and of course her minions will benefit. Kongor going for the 3rd time now. This definitely is the 3rd Kongor kill. And Torture needs to be real careful. Careful with that. Careful, because it might die. Meanwhile, Gauntlet's getting caught out by 3 heroes. Okay, gets him, and now he's dead. Prenix is coming from the side. Nice Tempest ultimate catching 3, but ultimate goes off from Ophelia as well as Engineer catching a whole bunch of heroes. And Kraken, you see Oak's going to die first here. Keg hits 2. As Silhouette dies, Kraken's in tons of trouble. Torture grabs a regen room, so that's nice, but not going to be enough. Kraken finally goes down. Torture's going to get this kill onto Moa, and Gauntlet flies back to pick off Master of Arms. So really probably a 1 fight there from Legion. They forced a buyout on Gauntlet. They picked 3 heroes. Used a bunch of ultimates, but that's fine. That's what they're there for. And they didn't lose anybody extremely important, namely this Gemini, who's really the hero that needs to survive. Master's also nice if he survives, but he doesn't absolutely need it. Grinix is sort of looking for an opening on this gauntlet here, but sees Torturing Irvine and decides not going to go for it. So Gemini continues from the woods, and really I think what's awfully concerning for Hellborn is this is their only Word of Sight. And that's a little bit odd. Legion only has two, one in the lane here and one in this lane here, and they're both going to expire relatively quickly, so I don't think that's a lot of counter-warding being done so much as nobody's placed wards that much. As finally Torture puts another one down near the Convert pit. So Grinix is coming in there, and the Dust of Revelation goes off, but it's not going to catch him. Bound Eye and Sender that was picked up off Gauntlet after Gauntlet's death. So they might... No, they're not going to do this board. Golden experience is growing slightly for the Legion side. 6k gold, 6k experience, and if they keep this up, then this is going to be a win for them because Gemini will outcarry Silhouette. Mo won't, but they don't have to have just him. And Kraken's going to be useful, Gauntlet's going to be useful, but neither of them is going to pose an enormous threat to Gemini just because he's so damn mobile and he does so much damage. Richstock coming in from Grinix just to scout a little bit. And with the Dawnbringer that he's currently got, he will farm relatively quickly. Bot push is nearing the base, so Sil's going to go clean that up. You know, it's pretty easy to be concerned about TZP here, of course, because we consider... Actually, Kraken's going to take that stun, and then the Engineer goes off despite the charge. But he's a little too tanky. Scout for some more wards here, and Grinix farms top. And Hellborn is really interested in taking this Kongor, and I can understand why. But even with the ridiculous amount of wards they're putting in, you know, Pew's sending in a Catman every so often to make sure they're not actually killing it, as we can see. So, you know, if they try to go for it...
Destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Tower killer from Nox. If they try to go for it, and it looks like they're going to now, yeah, see, they're just going to get scouted, because the Catman's going to be like, oh, look, there they are. So they either have to kill this in the next couple of seconds, or they have to back off, and they have to back off. And they have to back off now, because if they don't back off, that's a good decision to back off, although Kraken's getting stunned to all hell from Kongor. Boy, lots of wards of Rev being dropped here, including one by Silhouette. I don't know what the hell she's buying wards for. The Bound Eye goes off, and will allow them to counter these. Grinix illusions are going to be dealt with by Silhouette. So the standoff at Kongor is looking like it's going to result in a Legion team backing off. But they're, once again, they're going to know if Hellborn tries to go in and take this, and it's just not going to work, and they're just wasting so much time here. This Energizer goes off, the Minotaur's going to die, but nobody's going to initiate on a Kraken because, once again, too tanky. So let's going to clean up these triple stacked Ancients. And they're once again going to try to go for Kongor. And this is once again going to get spotted by Pew and his minions. They see 6 over. Both undead warriors as well. So the Grinix ultimate comes out. Gauntlet Blast onto Grinix. The Engineer ultimate, but actually that's going to prevent Tempest from going off because he got silenced as he jumped in. And it's immediately get cancelled anyway as Tempest goes down. So Silhouette needs to get the hell out of here because I don't know what that was. But now Kong's going to be finished up by the Legion team. And, oh look, there's a kill on Sil. And there's bananas too. I don't think they know about the bananas. They did. Good. Good job. So that's basically what the fear was, is that, you know, if they keep trying to do this, and you can understand that they really wanted to kill Kong a third time, but I don't think they really had it, and they needed to back off and get it when they had the jump, not when Pew was constantly sending minions in. So buyback on Silhouette to try to defend this a little bit, but she gets all flowered. Mid-Rex goes down, now they're going to go straight for top. This is going to be another Rax kill. 2 timeouts on Hellborn, as I don't think I have auto skip pause on. I don't. And we're back. So, sorry about that. So they're going to get some damage onto the top tower, but eventually are going to be pushed back as the pause goes through and both players on Hellborn reconnect. 16k gold lead, 14k experience lead here for the Legion side, and I don't see them throwing this away. Just because, you know, they've got Gemini now at 530 gold per minute. They've got Zergo and Master of Arms at 500 gold per minute. Kazu's at 437. As Silhouette's going to get picked off again. The Kraken comes out, but Pushbook gets Grenix out of it. Gauntlet Blast hits him, but he doesn't care. He's got the Infernal Winds. He's got the Bananas. Tempest goes down thanks to Gemini and the Moa, and so does Kraken. And that's game. So, not that surprising. Having a Syl try to outcarry a Gemini wasn't really a great strategy to begin with. It didn't work. What a shocker. So, good game, I think, here from TZP. They certainly played it well in the beginning. The surprise Kongor it certainly caught excellent off guard. And they had a lead in the landing phase, and I did pretty well in the landing phase, in fact. Better than I thought. So, that was good. The problem was, once they moved out of landing phase, they got picked off quite a bit, and they just did not win. I don't think they won any team fights. They really didn't have too much team fight ability besides the Kraken ultimate either. Mostly just single target damage, especially from Silhouette and Gauntlet. Tempest ultimate, of course, is team fight ability, but that usually gets cancelled so damn fast, it doesn't matter. Especially when you have an Ophelia with Skeleton Kings and Keg and, you know, Grinix and Mo. Everybody on this Legion team has a way to cancel that, so not great team fights here from TZP, but they had a good showing in this series, and eventually Excellent takes it 2-1, but certainly TZP gave it a better fight than one would initially think, considering the lineup that xCet is running. That's going to be it for this series, so we'll see you next time.